Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Philly sports talk morning show with KJ and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode, of course, of the Sippin' Sports podcast. If you guys haven't, Philly season is right around the corner. Go get that ballpark Tommy's Caramel Cup of Coffee in collaboration with the Burnt Coffee Company. Who knows? Maybe we'll be bringing out some new coffees as we get into the summer. Maybe me and KJ will make some. Probably me, because I know KJ is not much of a coffee drinker. But maybe I'll be bringing you guys some kind of a Dutch
I'll drink
classic.
coffee.
But welcome to another episode of Sippin' Sports. Get your coffee, get your orange juice, get your Gatorade. If you already had your cup of coffee, get comfortable because we got a lot to break down for you guys. Starting off with some Sixers trade rumors. I mean, we'll just dive right into it. If you guys want to call in, that number's 302-316-4848. You guys will see it flash up on the bottom right here. But KJ, we'll start with you, man. Would you straight up trade Joel Embiid for Giannis?
Oh, geez. I don't know if they would do it, to be honest. I mean, Joel's playing really good right now. And I know that we were saying like, oh, well, if he's like, because we were seeing him recently, like take days off and everything like that, and do the do those games where like obviously like they'll do where he does like a break of games where he doesn't play, but his percentages went down, but then now they're back up and they're looking like they're going back in the right direction. He's I think averaging more than 30 points a game, so he's playing really great right now. Through the last 6 games, he's had more than 30 points. I mean, he's looking like definitely one of the best centers in the league. He's looking like he's back to his form. But then also you got, the last game we had, the game that was against the Kings, where that was an amazing comeback. He had 37 points, and then Tyrese had 40 points. So, yeah, I think you keep Embiid. I mean, I know that people are like, oh, well, I'm getting tired of his injuries and everything like that. I think the doctor who did his rehab, the doctor that did his surgery, did an amazing job, because the guy thought at the beginning of the season he can't dunk anymore. The guy is able to catch alley-oops now. He's able to slam. I think you keep Embiid. And if you try to trade for Giannis, if that involves VJ, I want nothing to do with that. I want VJ to stay a Sixer. I think him and Tyrese, I think they got something going. They're going to be a dynamic duo for sure. And then you also got Embiid. So, I mean, if you add those three, you definitely get like a big three for sure. So, I think with Giannis, it's just like I don't see him going to the Sixers. I think the Warriors are really going to make a push for him. I think that's what's going to actually happen. So, I don't think the Bucks, with the history that they've seen with Embiid, I don't think they're going to try and go for Joel Embiid. I don't think they're going to try and go for that kind of risk. But I think with the Sixers, I think, you know what, you just kind of just play it out and see what happens. And obviously we've seen how he performs in the playoffs, but maybe this year's different. I don't know. I'm kind of willing to kind of take that chance. But I do love Giannis, though. Don't get me wrong. I think Giannis is a great player. He's one of my favorite players, but I don't know. It's very iffy. I'm on the fence about it.
I'll say this. Everything you said is right. If the Sixers have the opportunity to straight up trade Giannis for Embiid, in my opinion, It's almost like, why wouldn't you, right? Because Embiid's playing great right now, but if we get, like, let's say we get to May, right? Same thing happens again. Same old 76ers. Or if they even make the playoffs. I think that they will, but hypothetically, the brakes could fall off at any time, just like the Flyers have the past 2 weeks. What I'm saying is, Giannis is a winner. Giannis is competitive. Giannis is the kind of player that when he comes onto a team, he elevates you to be a better person and a better player, right? One of my favorite things that I saw with Giannis that just really showcased his personality, that impressed me, streamer I Show Speed did a collab with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was a dick to him. Like, if you go back and watch it, and maybe they were joking around.
I think
maybe
he was messing
they
around
weren't.
with him. Actually.
Maybe it was a mixture of the two, but it seemed kind of real. When Giannis met the same streamer, I Show Speed, it was like a completely different interaction. He was wholesome. He took his time. He listened. He gave good response. Like, he was just happy. And I feel like Giannis is the kind of guy that when he's on your team, there's just something to be said for people that are magnetic in this world. And as much as I love JoJo, right? I think JoJo used to be magnetic when he was younger. He had that glimmer in his eye about basketball. And it feels like that glimmer's coming back, right? Like, that glimmer's definitely coming back with the way that he's playing. Credit to him. But I wonder if you can ever get that full glimmer back, if that makes any sense. Same with Giannis. Giannis is getting older. I just feel like Giannis is at a different point in his career. And if it was a straight up one-on-one swap, Embiid for Giannis, I'd do it. Because Giannis, I like the sound of this big three better than this big three. Giannis, Maxey, VJ versus Embiid, Maxey, VJ. You know what I'm saying?
Would be great. That would be great. I think, yeah, that I would be fine with that. I'm just thinking the realistic part of it. I just don't think, as Haven said, I don't think the Bucks want a superstar with a ticking time bomb. I mean, that's what Embiid actually is. I mean, he's got knees that are made of glass, and it's just, I mean, I'll tell you, we've seen the history of centers, and it's just been, I mean, you can go, a list goes down. I mean, injuries that have happened, I mean, in their careers. And I think with Embiid, obviously he's going the right direction. And I mean, this is a great comeback story, but yeah, I mean, I love Giannis though. It'd be great to have Giannis, but I just don't think it would be realistic. I don't know if they actually would do the trade. You would probably have to put in some first round picks. They would probably actually want you to add another player, and it would probably be a caliber player like a VJ Edgecombe, maybe even but right now, what Daryl Morey said is VJ and Tyrese are untouchable. He did not say that Joel's untouchable though. So I mean, it could happen. I don't know, but I think we're just going to wait and see. About in a week, we'll know if they really do pull off a trade or not. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I think they might pull off a trade that might be smaller than we think. I don't know if it'll be a big blockbuster trade. Exactly.
It will be interesting today, too, to see how all that plays out at the game with the Sixers returning for the 2001 team, like you mentioned with Iverson on the main pod, to see how people react.
That's kind of related to it, but I mean, it's a little different. But
well, I know we're just talking, we're wrapping up on our Sixers, so I would throw that out there before we move on. I mean, unless you have anything else you want to say about the Giannis and Embiid trade.
That might be interesting because I'll be at the game, so we'll see how the fans react to Iverson returning. Obviously, with the incident that happened in Australia, and there's more. There's more stories that came out that kind of show more evidence that it did happen more than not. There are people that are defending AI, but also there's a lot of, I mean, there's interviews of the kids that are saying, yeah, this happened. So
yeah, you can't, there's no defending that one. It's a bad look on him. And like KJ said in his video, you got to go back. I think that's the only way to make this right, is to actually go back and try and fix it. But we'll see how Xfinity Mobile Arena, I almost said Wells Fargo, reacts tonight to Allen Iverson's appearance in Philadelphia. KJ McCoy, like he said, will be in the house. So
Probably.
we'll have a firsthand look if anything, goes bad. It'll be interesting to see. But let's talk a little bit of birds. There's a lot of news coming out the past week with the Eagles. Specifically, I want to talk about Adam Schefter going on 97.5 The Fanatic and saying that some big news would be coming out in the next week with the Eagles. Then their offensive coordinator was hired a couple days later. We had heard leading up to that Nick Sirianni might play call if it gets bad enough for the Eagles in 2026. I wonder what the big news is now. You got the Super Bowl, and you have about another month before free agency, and all of that happens. So I don't know that it's going to be like A.J. Brown got traded or Myles Garrett is signing with the Eagles. I think we're still a month away from any big move that could happen, potentially like any of that. What I do think is that it could be something like the Eagles bringing in a new run. Like Stoutland getting demoted, I think is bigger news than people think and make it out to be. Because for those that don't know, yes, Jeff Stoutland is the offensive line coach, but he's also the run game coordinator for the Eagles. And he was the year we won the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying he's a bad run game coordinator, right? Whatever he was doing in 2024, 2025, it worked and it worked well. That was one of the best, most historic seasons a running back has ever seen. Here's why I think Jeff Stoutland really got demoted. I think that it's more of a focus on the offensive line this year, keeping them healthy, keeping them in tune, because that's where we need you. They can bring in someone else to be the run game coordinator. Where they need Jeff Stoutland's focus and talent is on the offensive line. That's where I want all of his time. Because if you're splitting your time between running backs and offensive line, you're not going to be able to give as much as you did before the offensive line. And that, I think, is one of the biggest secret sauces to the Eagles' success is their offensive line play. And, when they're in tune, they're in tune. When they play as a unit, they're very good. So I think maybe this is not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. I saw a lot of people were upset by it and like, demoted, what are you doing? I think it's more like I said, just put him where his talent is better suited. Let him focus on the offensive line. We need the help there. And it's no disrespect to him, but I don't think it's a demotion. I think it's more of like a repivot, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think it's like a negative thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see how he reacts to it. And I mean, if he takes that as, okay, you know what, like, all right, like I screwed up this season. Because obviously, I mean, they really they didn't perform to what they obviously thought they were going to perform to, and that was being a Super Bowl contender. And I mean, definitely it was a drop off for sure. So I think Stoutland needs to look himself in the mirror for sure. The offensive line did seem really banged up this year. Landon Dickerson wasn't the same. Cam Jurgens wasn't the same. I mean, you didn't have Mekhi Becton, and you could kind of see that hole that was the gapping hole. I feel like with Tyler Steen, he still needs more experience, and hopefully he does. I still feel like Stoutland's a good offensive line coach. I mean, he has a pedigree for it. He has shown that he has been able to, honestly, turn over people's careers, turn around players' careers. I mean, he pretty much is the reason that Mekhi Becton has really revamped his career. It seems like it. So, and Mekhi Becton might be able to come back. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think with Stoutland, definitely maybe this is a wake-up call for him to get back in the right state of mind and definitely get back to his roots of that dominating offensive line that we are known for. Because this is one of the first years I can feel like for a while, I would say a good maybe 6 years that we haven't had a consistent offensive line. And I mean, with having Saquon in the backfield, you definitely feel like you are going to have that same kind of offensive line, that same kind of dominating young offensive line where, you know what, they're going to just keep it going. But they obviously didn't, and definitely that was a problem. So we'll see what transpires with Stoutland. I don't think he should have got fired. I know people were saying, oh, he should have got fired, but it's just one season. I think they can bounce back with it.
Yeah, I think he'll bounce back, and I think he'll respond well. Just something I wanted to address on the show because I saw a lot of people being like, demoted? What the hell? It's like, no, this is not as bad of a thing as people were making it out to be. But the Philadelphia Eagles have found their offensive coordinator. Took them long enough, like, damn. But Sean Mannion is coming in from Green Bay. Mixed emotions, mixed feelings. And they also bring in another candidate that they had as the new passing game coordinator in Josh Grizzard. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Grizzard. But this is going to be, I think, a good duo. They got two good young minds here. I'll let you go first and say how you feel because we all know how I feel about the OC. So I'll wait.
It was surprising. It was shocking for sure. I feel like definitely it was one of their choices where he wasn't their first choice. Sean Mannion just wasn't their first choice. He was a former backup quarterback. I heard on Nick Foles' podcast of him. I heard two different podcasts reacting to it. Both former teammates of Sean Mannion with the St. Louis Rams. And they were saying how he was always he's very smart player. Obviously didn't really have the talent enough to be a starter, but he was able to really decode plays and really call really just like he could kind of read certain defenses and stuff like that. Kind of had that coach mentality as well to him. So Nick Foles was really just saying like, wow, this is like a surprising hire. He definitely does feel like he was impressed with what he saw because he was a rookie when he was in St. Louis, when Foles was there. Mannion was a rookie, and he was very impressed with just Mannion's development and just like the way like his football mind worked. So that was definitely something to think about. So I was like, all right, you got Nick Foles kind of praising him, but then he said at the end, and this is where I was kind of like, oh, okay. And he was like, but it is surprising. He's like, it is a shocker. And I was like, oh, wow. And then Chris Long was saying that definitely like he wants to see, he hasn't talked to Mannion in years, but he definitely was like, he's a great person. He should be good for the job. Hopefully he doesn't let the Philly heat get to him. So definitely, I mean, like kudos to Mannion for coming in kind of a really hot situation. I mean, like definitely like it is a very warm seat that he is sitting on, being the coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. And especially a guy who never has called plays before. We kind of wanted a guy that has done that. And that's why I was kind of confused of why then they decided, okay, yeah, we're hiring Josh Grizzard, who was the Buccaneers offensive coordinator just the past year. And they're saying, no, he's going to be the QB's coach. So, yeah, I would think, honestly, maybe they have Grizzard there just in case this really does blow up with Mannion and it's not a good experiment. And they're just like, all right, Grizzard, all right, you bump up. We're bumping you up to it. Because that's what they honestly did with Patullo. I mean, he was a QB's coach and they bumped him up, the offensive coordinator. So I feel like right now, Josh Grizzard, Mannion is, if you think about it in this situation, not trying to confuse people, but Mannion is the starting quarterback as an offensive coordinator. And Grizzard is the backup quarterback. Is it right, though? Probably not, because Mannion was a QB's coach in Green Bay. So why are they like playing flip-flop with this? That's the only thing that really kind of raises my eyebrows a little bit about the situation exactly with Grizzard and Mannion. I kind of feel like they're just, it's kind of like bringing in Grizzard is kind of like some extra, like a security blanket as well, in case this blows up. But I think it's an okay hire. But it also feels like, yeah, if it works out, then they keep it going. We'll see what happens, though. But I think either or will be the offensive coordinator of the future, I feel like.
This feels like you're in credit card debt, right? You're in a lot of credit card debt. We'll say like 35, 40 grand in credit card debt. And what do? You go to the fucking casino and you put collateral on your house and you roll the dice. You say, fuck it. Because why not? Life is short. That's the only way I can see this making sense to the Eagles. I was so frustrated when they made this move. Then day 2 hit. I heard what Packers fans were saying. A lot of Packers fans were upset. I am an optimist. I want to look at things on the bright side. I want to look at the glass like it's half full. I want to be grateful that there's water in the glass, for God's sake, especially after Kevin Patullo. But you have a Super Bowl ready roster. That's the house. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Quinyon and Cooper on rookie deals, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham came back this year, right? He might be back this year too. I'm sure if you really needed him, he would be there. My point is, you took a big gamble, so this better pay off. It really better. Because if it doesn't, not only are we going to be mad at you, this is going to cost you. Like, I don't think enough Eagles fans understand and register how stupid the Kevin Patullo hiring was. Well, they do. But I don't think that enough are frustrated that that isn't like a bad hire when we had Chip Kelly. Or like a bad hire, I can't really think of a bad hire for the Eagles because they've had 2 great coaches since Chip. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not like a regular season. Oh, we had no expectations. We hired the wrong guy. It is what it is. This team just won the Super Bowl a year before. And it wasn't like they won the Super Bowl by a thin margin. They beat the shit out of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So they were a really good team coming into this year, and they fell off because of their offense. I'm going to be so upset, frustrated, angry. I don't even know the word. Just frustrated if they end up falling flat on their face again this year because of this move at offensive coordinator. This is a big gamble. And after taking a gamble last year, you don't think that the Eagles would take another gamble. But in typical damn Eagles fashion, they roll the dice and they make a gamble that they probably shouldn't. I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, I want this to work out. I hope I'm wrong on this. I just don't have a good feeling. A QB's coach as well, who's never called plays, that's a big gamble. And I understand the thought process. You want to try and get the really good offensive coordinators before they're available on the market. Because once they're there, they're going to be a hot commodity. Everybody's going to want them. There's going to be a better situation, all these things. I really hope that they knock this move out of the park because I felt like there were better options out there for the Eagles throughout the process. And I feel like because they sat on their hands for too long and they waited too long, other teams made moves when they were still waiting. And as a result, they got somebody that wasn't probably their first pick. I hate to say it, but Mannion probably wasn't their first pick. Was he their second? Was he their third? Maybe, but I don't think he was their first. Grizzard, on the other hand, season's on, bitches. That was literally how I reacted. Like, I went from doom and gloom to a complete 180. And like, all right, like that meme of me that KJ knows I love to use that I photoshopped myself on the horse riding into the sunset. Super Bowl! That was how I felt. Because Grizzard, however, if you look at the Bucs passing offense last year, Baker Mayfield looked elite last year. Mike Evans and him looked like a prime Tom Brady and Randy Moss. So I really love the Josh Grizzard signing, and I think that could play to his benefit. The one last thing I'll say, and I know I've been on a rant just because I'm passionate about this. I want to get it out. Kelsey said a really good point on WIP this week. I don't know if you heard it either, KJ, but I thought it was really interesting. He said the Eagles are a team where everybody does their part. And when everybody's doing their part and it's going together, it goes really well. But when everybody's not doing their part, or when it doesn't go together, but everybody's still doing their part and they can't figure out why it's not going together, people get frustrated. They don't know what to do because you're doing your job and it's not working, right? Like, and so are your counterparts. I feel like with the Eagles offensively, they have so many brilliant minds now that it's almost inevitable to work. I almost would have liked if they flip-flopped them and made Grizzard the offensive coordinator and Mannion the passing game coordinator. But they know what they're doing more than me. There's a reason we're podcasters. I hope I'm wrong. But I won't lie to you guys. I wasn't too thrilled about this.
Yeah. It definitely was. I mean, I think with the search for a coordinator, I mean, obviously, as we said before, our lists were kind of like, I mean, you saw McDaniel was on there. He went to the Chargers. You saw Dable. He was actually almost going to be, I think, the coordinator for the Bills or head coach for the Bills. That didn't work out. So then he went to the Titans instead of taking the he actually, I'm pretty sure, isn't it true that Robert Saleh got hired as head coach down there in Tennessee? And then
he's the Titans' new head coach.
Dable's gonna, so then Dable took the offensive coordinator job with the Titans. I think the reason that Dable took the job with the Titans is because of the pressure, I think, to come here to Philadelphia. I think he is pissed that he was wrong about Jalen Hurts. I think he's still really pissed that he was wrong about Jalen Hurts as a player and a leader. The guy has got it done. He is a Super Bowl champion. Dable was the same guy that benched Hurts at Alabama for Tua Tagovailoa. So he's the same guy. So he was wrong about him. And then Hurts went out there and proved him even wrong, and then actually went out and won a Super Bowl. So I think that was where Dable was like, yeah, I don't know. Or also maybe Hurts. I heard that Hurts had kind of a little bit of a say in this hire, apparently. I think apparently he was one of the guys that they asked as well, who do you feel like could, out of these candidates, that you feel like you can mesh with the best? And I think Mannion was one of those guys. So if he trusts in him and he trusts in Grizzard as well, that definitely could be a recipe of success. It could be. So I think even though it does seem a little flip-floppy with having Mannion at the OC job and having Grizzard at the QB coach thing, I think it could work out.
Yeah, I think it's going to hopefully work out. I like the Grizzard move a lot. And I think the Grizzard move, who knows? Maybe that's a backup plan, right? Maybe that's if we end up firing Mannion, here's a guy that we feel could step up, right? Like, here's a guy that we could promote to offensive coordinator temporarily. So I do like that. I think that they kind of have a backup plan, and they didn't say that publicly. But watching the Eagles my whole life, and NFL my whole life, I think that that's exactly what that is. So that could be a nice little nugget for you Eagles fans. But next up, we talked about this about a year ago, and it's been a fun topic. Who wants some dome? I hate to just say.
Oh my God! You should have told me. I should have brought
on Rome.
Yeah, should have brought on Rome. Rome the dome.
I can't believe that this is up for debate still, and I can't believe that it looks like it's going to probably happen. I hate to say.
Really?
I'll tell you why, KJ. I think so. You know, I'm team no dome. And I got my wish this year, right? I got my wish. I got to go to a snow tailgate with my buddies. We had a blast. We got to make a vlog. I got what I wanted, right? I want more of that. That was, I'll steal KJ's boots for years to come. Like, that was one of the most fun tailgates. It's funny, because the tailgates that I remember the most are usually the shittiest weather. Giants away game, this one. The only tailgate I remember that I really liked that was actually good weather was the 49ers 2022 NFC Championship. It was not cold. It was actually like 50 degrees, I remember. So that was pretty easy. But back to the point. I don't want a dome. Football is a sport that's meant to be played outside. And the fact that there's an old lady right now that's going around saying that the playoffs should be played inside, fuck off, Grandma. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, sorry, Granny, but beat it. This is football weather. This is what the sport is. Like, either be rich enough that your family can put you in a box, right? Like, not like that, not a coffin.
I thought you
like
meant a coffin.
like where rich people sit, you know what I mean? Like, that's heated, you can close the glass. Like, I understand for old people, it's harder on your body. Or watch at home. Football, like, it shocks me more old. Like, if I was an old man, I'd be like, yo, shut up, sister. I'm shocked that not more old people are speaking out and saying this is BS. Like, football is a sport that's meant to be played outside. Football is a sport that I think that it's bullshit in the first place that the Super Bowl is indoors. I think it should rotate every 32 years between all 32 teams, and each team should host once every 32 years. That's truthfully how I feel about it. Is that going to ever happen? No. And I understand why the Super Bowl is such an important game, betting-wise, and all these other factors factored in, that the Super Bowl can't necessarily be in any given Sunday, right? Like, it can't be, oh, well, weather happened, and that's why the Chiefs lost. Sorry, Vegas. No, it can't be that. They need to make sure it's perfect turf. They need to make sure it's good, climate. They need to sell their tickets, sell their bets. They need to make sure it's a stadium that can hold as many people, can handle the broadcast, can handle, the web span, Wi-Fi, all that shit. I don't know. I'm not a nerd. Point is, they need someone with that capacity. And is Lincoln Financial Field that? No. Is the Bills Stadium that? No. Is Soldier Field that? No. But those are some of the best stadiums in the NFL. Those are some of the best experiences in the NFL. And this is my take. If you get rid of, there's a serious conversation right now going around in sports that this old lady started, whether or not the playoffs should all be played at neutral sites indoors. No. No. I don't care if it's the NFC Championship or AFC Championship. Football isn't any given Sunday sport. And if you're going to make the playoffs played in a dome, you might as well just make all 32 teams play in a dome. And you might as well just call it the indoor fucking football league at that point. Yeah. Because that's what it is. It's not an any given Sunday thing. Part of football is the elements, is the weather. That's part of the sport. That's part of the game. So I don't want a dome. I don't want this to happen. And I feel like the Eagles should kind of stand up to this. I really hope that the Lurries will reconsider this decision. And if they make it, I'm not going to be mad at them. I understand why Jeffrey Lurie would. He's a businessman, right? Like, of course he's going to do that. I'm just saying, if you're a very smart businessman, right, you're going to be looking at the long-term impact. And I feel like part of being an Eagles fan and our culture and our craziness is being played outside. I'll leave it at that. And not just us. We're not the only team in the NFL that can say that. There are other teams that are defined by being played outside. So I'm kind of upset that this is being kicked around, but I'm not shocked. How do you feel? Sorry, I just had to let it all out again.
I haven't heard anything about this at all. Just haven't heard anything about it. But I mean, about an old lady saying that should be in the neutral site, that would just be really stupid, because that's just like we're kind of treating it like the NBA bubble, like it's COVID again. Like, that would just be stupid. She doesn't know what she's talking about with that at all, even if this is real or whatever she's really talking about. But you need, teams need home field advantages at times, that has the element to it. And also, cities have been paying a lot of money and taxes to build these stadiums. So that would just make no sense for them to just have it in one neutral site like that. I just think it's just it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But I've said this before. I don't want a dome. I think places like Philadelphia, places like Buffalo, those places, deserve to be outside. I know that people want the Final Four to be here in Philadelphia. Obviously, this year we're having March Madness here, but they want more events to be in Philadelphia, bigger events to be in Philadelphia, and that could be a place where they could do it. But I rather them just have the smaller events like just the first round of March Madness. That's fine. We don't need the Final Four here like that. If that means that we have to build a dome for our football team, I love the moment that I had when the Eagles played the Rams in the divisional last year. I mean, seeing Saquon just run through the snow and everything like that. And that game was just so much fun. I mean, at first it didn't seem like it was going to be like a snow bowl kind of game, and it became a snow bowl in like the second quarter, and you could really see the snow piling up. So I would miss that a lot. I think it really is cool. I know some people complain about it, but we're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully they take a page out of the book of what the Bills are doing right now, where they're building a bigger stadium than they have right now. But they also have built a stadium to a point with this new science where there is no wind, where that is going to help out kickers. And it's not cheating, but they have it built in a certain way where the wind can't really get inside the stadium or bowl that they have. So yeah, I think the Eagles can maybe do that eventually. Will they build onto Lincoln Financial Field and make it bigger? I don't think you can actually do that. I don't think the stadium is built that way, but you never know. I mean, the advances, the sciences are definitely advancing. So you just never know what could happen. But if I could say, and I think you would have a lot of people outraged if they ever went to a dome. I think it would be really stupid. I think some places are fine with it. Indianapolis is fine with it. I thought it was, I mean, for Detroit, I mean, they've just got used to it and whatever, so they're fine with it. But yeah, certain places, I mean, Vegas, that's fine and whatever. You're going to have some stadiums that are domes, and that's where they're going to host Super Bowls and everything like that. But I think for Philadelphia, it's a no for me.
Yeah, just not meant to be played inside. So let us know how you guys feel in the comments. I'll probably end up reposting that video on our Instagram doing the interviews last year. And if there's any experts of Lincoln Financial Field out there, let us know if the link can have. This has been a huge argument at 302 Birds between some of the people internally, is whether or not Lincoln Financial Field would need to be tore down and rebuilt, or whether or not it can currently have a roof put on. Dennis is the one who started this whole argument by saying in the video, it was hilarious. He said, the link is currently able to have a roof put on.
Can I do the Dennis impression?
Huh?
Can I do it in the Dennis impression?
If you want, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, Dalton, I'll tell you this. The link is able to put a dome. They're able to build over it. That's what they're able to do. He
basically did say that it's currently pre-built to have a dome, attached to it. I don't know if that's true or not, Dennis, but hey, fuck it. Sometimes confidence is everything, right? Like, that's half the battle. So I'll say this to wrap up. Never bring a dome to Philadelphia. Don't curse us with that. And just play football outside. It would give us at least another 10, 15 years of outdoor football before it becomes the indoor football league. And then somebody will have to partner up with WWE or something to make real football. Who knows? Yeah. There you go. People are coming for the poor guy in the comments already.
I know everything. And I know that Franklin is not a real dog, and hip hop should be the permanent mascot of the Sixers. And
I wonder what he was going to say about Franklin liking our pick the other day.
Yeah, how about that? That's awesome. I mean, me and you both don't. I mean, we are with that debate, we are more we grew up with hip hop. But if I could come together, honestly, I would say have both mascots. That would be fine. You can have both. They'll be animal brothers or whatever. So, and I'm here today that, well, actually, it is official. Hip hop will be there today.
Maybe if you see him, get a pic with him, because I know he's your buddy.
If I see him, yeah. Oh, of course. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I will get a pic. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
Who knows
I
if he'll be
will. I will
walking
push
around.
over people to go get a picture with hip hop. I will
That'd
push
be
over that.
sick.
If I push over that old lady that was saying that we need to have the all the games in a dome and whatever, I'll do that though.
Move
all
it,
right?
Granny. Yeah.
Move it, Granny. Go make some cookies.
Oh my God. But that's all we got. Thank you guys all for coming out to the season 5 premiere of the Sippin' Sports podcast and waking up with us.
All
If you
right.
guys don't, go check out Ballpark Tommy's Caramel Cup of Coffee on the Burnt Coffee Company's website. Get ready for the Philly season because somebody's got to wake this team up. But that's all we got for you guys. Hope everybody has a great and safe week. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up, KJ?
Well, it's funny you bring up Ballpark Tommy because when football season does end, then that means that baseball's back, Dutch. Baseball's coming back. It's emerging back. And I'll be ready at the bank, ready to go. Ballpark time. That's what he would be saying right now if he was here. But we got to bring him back on for to get his Phillies thoughts. I am dying to hear his thoughts on this offseason. We got to get
He's
him
dead
back
inside.
on.
I can tell he's dead inside.
Yeah, we got to get his
When he doesn't talk, he's
reaction.
pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed, but I'm still like pretty pissed with them as well. So I'm with him.
Yeah, I get it. But that's all we got. If you guys haven't, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow on Facebook. All those little things really help us out at the channel a ton. Other than that, hope everybody has a great and safe week. As always, God bless. Go Birds.